My name is Dr. Pat Doody. I'm one of the leaders of the IMaR Technological Research Centre, which is part of MTU. MTU is responsible in this project for managing one of the work packages and also some of the technology. We're different to probably a lot of the partners on the project in that we're not food-based or not scientists as such. So my role is purely to manage a work package and also to manage some staff that MTU have on the project. Personally, it's a management role, but in terms of my team, I guess we're working on two things. One is work package 2, where we're very much involved in the sensors, which have been used to measure the environment while goods are in transport, I guess. So work package 2 is very much focused on logistics. So it's got to do with the transportation of fresh produce around Europe, where a lot of that fresh produce doesn't always arrive in the best shape for sale. And sometimes that can be affected by how it's transported. So the premise of what we're doing is very much we change the transport containers in the hope that improves the shelf life of the project at the end, or the produce at the end, should I say. So from our perspective, we're measuring the environment that those goods are transporting in. So a number of the parameters that affect food would be temperature, humidity, oxygen levels, CO2 levels, other gases as well, such as ethylene and so on. So we're working specifically with Rebus, which is another one of the partners, on making sure that that environment is measured and the data is captured during the transports. We're also involved in a task in work package 3, which has got to do with smart labeling, and that covers a multitude. But some of the ideas is labels that change color as the food reaches its expiry date or best before date, whichever. And also smart can also cover things like smart labels that you can use your phone to find out maybe information about traceability or where the goods originated from. So they're the tasks. Okay, so in terms of the logistics work package, so at this stage we've a number of pilots completed using one of the containers. So there's 2 containers. One is the bulk box, which is for transporting, as the name suggests, bulk items, so quite a large box. And that's the main way the goods will be transported throughout Europe. So the box has been developed by ATIP, the sensors by Rebus Labs and MTU, and the pilots have been involving some of the producers, but also FEM, who are doing the analysis. So at this stage, we're probably 50% in the trials using mushrooms and peppers. And the next phase is spinach and strawberries. And there's some seasonal parameters, obviously, in that. So once those produce are available, then we can do the pilots. The second task is a smaller box for other types of fresh produce, such as maybe fish, meat, cheese, and more in line with the packaging that you would pick up, a consumer would pick up in a supermarket, for example. So that container is currently being finalized in terms of its dimensions. Once that's done, we can finalize the sensors, or will finalize the sensors and commence trials on those. And then on smart labels, a lot of that is a desk research project, is finding out what technologies are out there already, what might be useful for mitigating against food waste, and that's where we're working there. So work package 2 is focused on transportation of produce in a bulk capacity, which would be transporting goods, transportation containers throughout Europe. A lot of waste happens in that part of the supply chain. So by developing specific containers, as the bulk box and the store box, we have found that the shelf life has increased in most instances. For some produce, it doesn't work as well as others, but for a number of different types of produce, we're finding that the shelf life has increased. If the shelf life increases, obviously, then it's there for more time, therefore consumers will buy it rather than it becoming a waste material. So the biggest achievement, I guess, is that by using these containers, we will hopefully reduce significant amounts of waste. Food sustainability is really important from both a project perspective in terms of sisters, obviously it's the focus, but also from an EU perspective and a personal perspective. So from an EU perspective, it has become a focus for many years now, and we've been working, even as a technology research centre, have been very much focused on food and agriculture for 10 years now. So it's interesting when, as a technologist, when you become involved in the food supply chain, how much food is actually wasted. It's pretty incredible when you consider the number of people that are without food. And so from a personal perspective and from a technology perspective, anything that we can do to improve that situation is a positive.